So
like
how
I
did you
heard
get a
of
deal with Puma? How did that happen?
that again. I'm going to say this a lot, but purely synchronistically. Me and the team were training, like the team. How I got into parkour. I'm sure it was 2003. I'm sure this is my 20th year. There was a documentary called Jump London, and it focused on Sebastian Foucault and Stefan Veroux, who weren't the original founders of the discipline. The original group was a couple of guys, or a bunch of guys called the Yamakaze, or the Yamakaze, and really grew up in, they grew up in the suburbs of Paris, a town called Nice and a town called Evry. And especially in especially in Nice, if you look at the architecture of the city, like what we were saying earlier, like parkour is just running around with your mates on garages, playing tig and tag and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But if you look at the architecture of this place, it was like postmodernism or whatever the fuck. They were like trying all these different angles and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And it is a parkour paradise. Do you know what I mean? And that's just they were playing the same games we were playing, but because of the environment they were doing it in, it enabled them to develop. You know, there was like more roof gaps, there was like balconies. It's just the layout of the place lends itself to this kind of play and training. And then as they were growing up, like a couple of them started studying martial arts, some of them were studying breakdancing, like they were studying some physical kind of things, and they ended up developing, like they were watching Jackie Chan movies and seeing how, like all this kind of stuff, and it all ended up coming together synchronistically. And they developed this thing. Initially, it was called the art de déplacement or the art of motion, and it was more like a display kind of thing. And then like more display kind of thing, like breakdancing or that kind of shit. And then one of the guys, David Bell, he broke off and developed parkour, which is more about efficient movement, A to B travel in the most efficient way possible. Like if you imagine escape or reach situations, like you're trying to get away or you're trying to reach a baby in a burning building, what's the most efficient, practical way? And that's the training. Although the definitions have become a lot more blurred as time goes on, but I've always thought of parkour as being a much more direct form of training, much more like a martial art. But instead of trying to defeat a human opponent, your opponent is your environment.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, you're using things that would normally inhibit you, and they're put up to like stop you, like rails, walls, gaps, and to actually propel you forward. And then Sebastian Foucault, he broke off and developed free running, which uses a lot of the same core techniques as parkour, but the emphasis is more on self-expression through movement. So that's when flips and stuff come into it, and it's more about just going out and interacting with the environment in a more playful way as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to the efficient, always A to B, always forward motion of parkour. But so yeah, the initial documentary that was like Sebastian that, and it was the first time parkour had really been seen outside of France, other than a couple of random sample videos. And I remember watching it, and I phoned my mate at the time, like immediately after. I was like, "Did you see this?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Right, we start training tomorrow." Because, like you say, we were already jumping garages and climbing random shit, but this, it almost gave you an excuse to do it. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I'm doing parkour. You know what I mean? Like that's to
Yeah.
me what it was. This is the gateway to do the shit that I already do, and I don't really know why I'm doing it. I don't really
Yeah.
know why I climb on buildings or why I jump off roofs, but this is telling me why I'm doing it, and
Mm-hmm.
it just resonated on such a level. So we basically started training the next day, and then like there was no YouTube back then. There was very little online resources, so we were just going out and like it was more jackass than parkour at that point. And after a couple of weeks, we'd be out training, and like another couple of kids would come by, like, "Oh, you're doing that French fucking free walking stuff." But well, kinda. And they're like, "Oh, can you teach us?" We're like, "We don't know what we're doing, but I
Mm-hmm.
like let's go." So we ended up like the first couple of years there was like a rotation of like 30 of us at a point that would come out training at different times, and we were just progressing as much as we could with the resources that we had in terms of like online videos and knowing techniques and that kind of stuff. So then the team, it kind of dwindled down to like a more core team that were taking it more serious than the rest of us. And then we were training in Glasgow one day, and the manager of the Puma store just happened to see us, and he was quite a young dude, and he knew like potential, like it was already getting used in a lot of advertising and this kind of stuff at that point. And he ended up like brokering a basic sponsorship deal for us, and so we would like. I remember the first time we went in, and they like gave us all a pair of trainers and like tracksuits and t-shirts and hoodies and shit. We were all wearing like the same shit, and we were like, like the team, like it was fucking
Yeah.
like when we get like our logos printed on the back of the Puma t-shirts and shit, and it just felt like um it was our thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, although the parkour community is by far the most inclusive community that I think I've ever been a part of, and there's no real competition. Everyone just loves movement, and they just want everyone to get to the best level that each individual can get to, and that kind of shit. But we were always kind of like, we went to community events and that kind of stuff, but we were also kind of insulated within ourselves, and it was just like our wee gang, and we would go out and do our own wee thing, and then when we get the recognition of the sponsorship, at least to ourselves, it was like we're fucking killing it right now. Do you know what I mean? And then ended up having like a meeting with the council, and got to teach in 4 different high schools, and I got to go back to like I said before, my school relationship was terrible. Like a dog that fucking constantly, especially third and fourth year, didn't sit my exams, fucking left without a fucking qualification. Like I just hated school, and then I get to go back like 7 or 8 years later, and it was one of the best moments of my life. Like I'd already taught. This was at lunchtime, so we'd taught like 4 classes by this time, so people knew that we were in the school and we were doing flips, and like the kids knew we were there. So we'd been to the canteen and we were walking back through like the playground. One of the kids we taught came by, and like all the kids were out at school at this point, like in the playground.
Mm.
And one of the kids came by, like, "Oh, you are the free runners, can you do a backflip?" So we started doing backflips and shit. And then it was the same way, like if there's a fight in school, everyone converges,
Like
and everyone
circle.
done that. And they were all in this like a big circle, and we were just doing flips and blah blah blah. And then I looked, and it's like 5-2, and like shit, we better get back down for the next class. So that right, sorry guys, we need to go. And all the kids started clapping, and like I was way two of the other coaches like went to different schools and had different fucking school life than I did. But I'm walking away, and it was like literally 1,000 kids in the playground clapping for us as I'm walking through the playground that I used to not be able to fucking walk into.
Mm.
And I'm walking like down to the P. Like the school was the same as I fucking left it basically, but instead of walking through it feeling this isolation and fucking desolation and just fucking like I wasn't in a good place when I was in high school at all, and then to walk through it with 1,000 kids applauding you because you've put in time to learn a skill and to fucking do whatever they did, and I'm like fighting tears. And like the 2 kids that were the 2 coaches, they were just fucking. They didn't know they were just blah blah blah. It was
Yeah.
such an emotional moment for me, like this feeling of like accomplishment and recognition, and to be back in a place that had tortured me for years, and to come back in such a positive way. And that's like when we were coaching, like they introduced, it was a program through North Lanarkshire Council called the Active Schools, and they introduced like basketball and breakdancing and judo and parkour all at the one time. And our classes were like the most attended. They were the ones that lasted the longest, through the like um, financing, grants and shit. Like
Mm.
I stayed around the longest basically,
Yeah.
and be able to pass on. Like I never had any aspirations of being a teacher. It was just another thing that we fell into. But seeing having like a bunch of kids lined up, and I'm like, right, today we're going to do this, and the first kid would go, I can't do that, and you would see him fucking like terrified to do the thing, but also terrified to do it in front of like other kids and shit. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to. Oh, they'll laugh if I fuck this up and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then taking them to the side and being just spending 5 minutes with them and breaking it down and breaking the movement down, breaking the mental aspect down. And then 5 minutes later, they try it for the first time and they almost get it, and you can see it within themselves. they're like, oh no, let me try it again. And then they go up and they do it, they land it, and they're ecstatic, they're over high fiving everybody. And you're just standing like, yes, I've passed that. Like, wow, like that was, I remember how I felt when I could do that, and I've passed that on to him. Hopefully he'll go pass that on to someone else. And that became such a powerful aspect of why I was doing what I was doing, because it just, the kids that were attending our classes were the kids that weren't into football. Do you know what I mean? They were the kids that were kind of like outsiders, and like, you know, that kind of shit. But parkour speaks to those kids, and it's like, it gives them something physical to do. It gives them that sense of achievement. It helps bring them out of themselves. It gives them confidence, and to be able to pass it on, like, there's sometimes I'll hire myself out as Spider-Man,
Right.
like birthday parties and gala days and this kind of shit. I saw another guy doing it, and he had like the costume, and he was just like, "Hey, I'm Spider-Man," and just like
Yeah.
standing there.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing this guy like, and I'd already been acting for a while and shit. I'm like, this would be such a great fucking
Yeah.
blending of like my parkour skills and a wee bit of acting shit.
Yeah.
So I went and got a fucking like costume and stuff, and I've done it like quite a few times now, and it's like the amount of times I'll go into the place and the kids will be like, "Oh, it's Spider-Man, cool," and then I'll do a flip and I'll land like superhero landing like Spider-Man, and the kids are like, "Shit, it's Spider-Man," and they like lose their fucking shit. And like, see, like I've told kids like, if they eat their vegetables, they'll be an Avenger one day, and I've like fist bumped them and shit. And I've ran into the parent like 9 months later, and like, you know, he still asks for more carrots and peas every fucking dinner because
Aye.
Spider-Man told him he's going to be an Avenger. And like, see, being able to pass that on and just give kids like this moment, like, because like I say, when I was growing up, I had fuck all. Do you know what I mean? So to be able to pass on this little moment inspiration, to me, it's like a random thing that will say throughout an hour performance, like some kid, "Hey buddy, blah blah blah," but that kid might go home and be like, "I met fucking Spider-Man. I want to like be a free runner or a fucking, you know,
Yeah.
I want like blah, blah." It could completely change his entire life. And if I've got the power, like with great power comes great responsibility. Do you know what I mean? If I can spend an hour out of my day throwing on a spider, which I love to do anyway. See the days I know that I'm waking up and I'll get to be Spider-Man. Like I've played Batman in an advert, and I played Super Mario in an advert. But when I know like I'm playing Spider-Man, I get into the shit. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I need to sell it from an acting point of view, but also I can be Spider-Man. I can do the flips and shit. Like I can give these kids the fucking, for just a minute. You know what I mean? The illusion that they've met the dude that they've seen on the fucking screen doing the shit. Because that's like, when I was growing up, Power Rangers was a massive thing to me. I was 5 years
Yeah.
old when
I
it
was the
came out.
same.
I hit the demographic perfectly, and I always kind of thought like, all right, enable to be do in order to be able to do flips and shit, you need to be a superhero or a ninja. Do you know what I mean? As far as I know from what I've seen in films and stuff, someone needs to give you powers and they do flips. I always just thought flips were cool as fuck. But that's like, it created a mental barrier to me. Like, I'll never be able to do flips. I'm not a superhero. So then when I got into parkour and eventually like started learning flips and shit, I'm like, wow, I can do the shit that, and this is what I said before, my 5 year old self would be so fucking proud of who I've became. And that makes me proud of who I am now. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the fact I'm 35 and I can still go out, like do a backflip, or I'll throw on a Spider-Man costume, or I can go down the woods and climb trees for hours and tap into exactly how I felt when I was fucking 12 years old doing the same shit. I think that's more beautiful than if I had, you know, 100 grand saved in the bank and I worked 50 hours a fucking week for an insurance broker or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, to me, the stuff I do is so important to me that it makes me want to keep doing it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it comforts me in a way that I can still act as childlike, and you know, still let my imagination run wild, still get into moments and that kind of stuff.
To be
And
honest, Lee, if I was to just interject, man, you're winning life, man. You're winning life. That's what's going on. You're winning life, because that's to be able to hold on to that and to be able to prioritize your values are in alignment. Like, let's say we're, as we mentioned before, we're in society, you've got the default financial position, and a lot of people are lost in it. You know what I mean? And that's so cool. And I'll be honest, the idea of it, I don't know if you put an accent on all that, but the idea of you being Spider-Man and a Scottish Spider-Man being like, "Here we man, eat your fucking veg." That's brilliant.
No, no. I get deep in it. I'll say one thing though. Like I was doing a graduation at a nursery, which is a bizarre thing. Like when I graduated nursery, I think my mum bought me a packet of Skittles, and that was all the fanfare that happened. But now, like when kids graduate nursery, they get gowns and the hats, like an actual American style graduation.
Yeah.
So I get hired to just come in and fucking dazzle the kids for like half an hour. So if I'm dealing with little kids, I'll always like crouch down and like get at my eye level kind of thing. So I'm talking to these kids, and I'd done some flips, and they were believing it. But there was this one wee kid, one wee 5-year-old to the left, and he was me when I was 5 years old. I think that's why I hate him so much.
Yeah.
But he's going, "You're not the real Spider-Man." I'm like, "Oh, I am, buddy. They flew me over from New York. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
real." Blah blah blah. "No, you're no." Like, "Yeah, I'm, buddy. You know, you see me do the flips, and yeah, I'm Spider-Man." "No, you're no." I'm like, "Right, whatever, we man." So I start talking to the kids again. A couple of minutes later, I feel this podgy little 5-year-old finger poke me in the back. He's like, "You're not the real Spider-Man. The real Spider-Man doesn't have a zip. Why have you got a zip back here?" I'm like, "Will you shut up, wee man?" What the kind of rumble me kind of thing. But no, when I'm playing Spider-Man, I try and because, like I say, it is an acting gig. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's one that I can enjoy so much, and I try and make it as Spider-Man as possible. And
Yeah.
I end up saying shit that I've got no idea I'm going to say, but it's stuff that Spider-Man would say, like,
Yeah.
and that's why I love acting as well, because it just it gives you the chance to do stuff that you don't get to do in normal life. Like I was in a film, I was playing an undercover cop, and the gang that had infiltrated had found out my identity, and they killed my wife, and they thought they'd killed me, but I wasn't dead, and I came back. I seek vengeance and that kind of shit. So I've got one of the guys chained up. In fact, have you ever seen Scott Squad?
No.
One of the main stars, Manjot Samal, the Indian dude, it was him that I was acting alongside. So I've got him chained up in like this warehouse, and I'm battering fuck out of him with a golf club. And I'm trying to get information on bad guys, and I'm fucking screaming in this cunt's face. I'm like a fucking inch away. I'm like, "Fucking, yeah, fuck, and then the director yells cut, and you're like, "Oh, sorry about that, man, blah, 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 blah," and you're just back to conversational, and then they yell action, "Yeah, fucking, nah." And it's so good to release that shit without
Yeah.
consequence, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because usually if you're taking it to that level, it's an argument and you're sleeping on the couch after it, or you're going to be fighting with somebody, or there's a consequence, but to be able to tap into that intensity of emotion for just a minute and then
Yeah.
to drop it again, it's like screaming into a pillow. It's like fucking,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's so good, and
Yeah.
it taps into like I said before, my philosophy is to try and experience as much as possible, and for me to be an actor, it enables me to expedite that process. I feel, and also like, and this is something that I love to talk about, but it goes back to the simulation hypothesis. With the amount of jobs that I've had, like I am in my 59th job, right, which is so fucked up. See, when you talk to average people, like they have, I think, 8 jobs is the average you have throughout your life. And to a lot of people, starting a new job is such a massive mental endeavor. You know what I mean? Like going through the interview process and
Yeah.
joining a new team and integrating yourself into a new workplace. I've done that 59 times. It's old fucking rope to me now. Like
Yeah.
I go into interviews and I am completely calm.
Yeah.
There's no nerves. There's no nothing. I end up like interviewing them a lot of the time and like
Yeah, man.
asking them questions that puts them in the back foot and that kind of shit. But what I've noticed is like to go back to the simulation hypothesis, there are definitely NPCs in this world. There are non-playable characters that are just cookie cutter people, and I know like there's personality archetypes that people play into and that kind of stuff. But I'm talking like I've worked in like offices in call centers and stuff, and people that work in offices, call centers, and that kind of shit, they eat different stuff than like warehouse workers. Warehouse workers will eat completely different shit. They talk about different stuff on their break. They watch different TV shows. And the more that you move around, like I've probably done more warehouse work. Like I've got a very, very job history. I've been fucking a soldier, a butcher, a support worker, an insurance broker, telesales, door-to-door sales, retail sales, production, marketing, fucking a lot of fucking shit. But I've probably done more warehouse work than anything else, just production lines and that kind of shit. And I keep meeting the exact same people time and time again. Their face might change, their name might change, but they're the same people that I met in that warehouse that do the same thing, that say the same stuff. And it's like you end up, it's like, see the first time you play Grand Theft Auto and you're walking down the street and you bump into someone, and the person that you bumped into goes like, "Hey, watch it, buddy." And then you bump into someone else and they go, "Hey, I'm working here." And then you
That's
bump
right.
into someone else, and like, wow, they're fucking interacting with me and they're saying shit. But after you've played it for a couple of hours and you've bumped into 100 people, you realize like, all right, that person always says the same thing. And when you bump it, you realize that it's a very, at first you think it's AI, but then you realize it's a very redundant AI that's just, like
A template, essentially.
yeah, and that's I feel most people don't realize that because most people don't get as broad and a spectrum to look at. Like most people will work in maybe 2 warehouses, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're kind of similar to the guy that I knew before." But see, if you've worked in 22 warehouses, you see like it's enough of a demographic to see. Oh no, there's actually people that are just like NPCs, like 100%. They don't do anything. They don't contribute to the greater world. They're just there to fill the same role as that guy and that guy and that guy. And that guy. It's so fucking weird, man. Like, there's a lot of people that like they don't. They're just human beings. They're not human doings. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that just take up space in the world.
Yeah.
And the more you go out and look around, and the more you see people in these kind of environments, the more you see, or maybe it's just the environments, I don't know. But to me, again, it lends back to the simulation hypothesis and how much it relates to like Grand Theft Auto when you're walking down the street. And at first you think these people are giving you different responses, but the more you go down, you see, oh, it's just there's limited responses, and these people will keep firing the same things back at you and back at you. And I think that's part of the. It might just be part of the system. Do you know what I mean? If you're raised in the same way and to the same parameters and shit, then you're going to react in the same way. But to me, it speaks to something bigger, or maybe it's just people trapped within that specific system. And it's all these different people trapped in the same systems, and I've just seen enough of them to be like, wow, they're all the same.
Yeah.
Fuck those, man.
No, I fully agree, Lee, and that's what's really interesting because, like, the job I'm in now, man, like, I was joking with one of the guys at work the other day, man. I went through a couple of dozen interviews from this time last year, like a couple of dozen. Like, but for jobs, I've had jobs, I've walked out of jobs after 2 days, and I'm the same. There's a really fractured work history, and I've thought at the beginning, like, there's something wrong with me, man. I can't fit into these places. I can't fit in, but it's because your mind's looking for novelty. It's looking for something new, and that's what obviously the psychedelic experience is. It's a new experience every time, and I think that's what's quite interesting as well. Is like I've also developed a relative numbness to the interview experience. It's also I feel nothing, and I think I've associated with lack of care. Like, I don't give a fuck if I get this, and it's that feeling. Like, I'm
gets you a lot of the time.
yeah, well, that's what's interesting. They interpret that impassiveness as confidence.
Yeah,
You're just in a position where, like, mate, I really don't want to see you every day, so don't give me the job. And that's one of the things that I found interesting. You hate to interact with people in a work environment that you ordinarily wouldn't even talk to waiting for a bus, And I think it's funny as fuck, man, because I'm the same. Like, I wonder what that position is. Is it like people developing an NPC? Like, what is it? Is it their fucking inherentness, or is it the fucking as a consequence to the society and them having to fit like water into a jug? They just have to fit into this role. But yeah, I totally understand. It's quite interesting that that's a very similar dynamic. Like, because the interview thing, it's became a point where it's like, template based stuff. It's like they act the same. It's the same questions. You have to put on the same persona. It's like this is, I feel you like definitely it's the same thing, man. It's like just a numbness that's developed.
And like, and that's what I say. Like, for so many people, changing a job is such a big thing. But if you've done it enough times, it's like
But again, flip that around, man. If you were to go for a job that was parkour, because if I was to go for a job that was based on my passion, that wouldn't be the case. You'd be fucking nervous. Like, I need this shit.
Yeah, if you were going for like an animator job at Adult Swim or something, then that would be. And I've been up for parkour jobs before, like adverts and shit, and I've not got it. And it's because I've went in with the attitude of, oh, there's people much better than me. Like the parkour community is still kind of small, and like I'm not saying everyone knows everyone, but if like there was an advert came up a couple of years ago and it was paying 25 grand for a 3-day shoot in Prague, and you were getting like £600 a day per DM kind of thing. So for a job like that to come up in the parkour world, it's a big fish, you know what I mean? And I already knew, I'd seen some people talking about it, and like, oh well, if they're applying for it, I'm not getting it. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm a decent free runner. Like if someone in the street, like a civilian, sees me training, they're like, "Oh, that guy's a free runner. He can do flips. That's fucking cool." But to actual free runners, like people that fucking this is all they do and they're up every day training, like they're doing shit that I can't fucking fathom. Like there's literally 8-year-olds that I see on Instagram popping off shit that would take me 6 months dedicated training to do at this point in my fucking. But again, that's just what they've got access to. Like that's like what was I thought about a second ago? I'm about to go on a different tangent, so I wanted to know what I was talking about before. Fuck it, I'll just go on this. Like kids that are getting into parkour today, like where I got into it with there being is limited resources, that was the state of the art at that time, like what was Kamikaze were doing. But now with YouTube and Instagram and like the level that the top athletes are at, if there's a 7-year-old kid that sees this, he just thinks, all right, that's the norm. Do you know what I mean? Where I am concerned, like the world champion, like Red Bull sponsored athletes just now, they're doing shit that I'm like, oh fuck, man, that's fucking wow. But to someone just getting into it at a young age, they just think, all right, that's where we are. So that's what I need to be better than. Do you know what I mean? Whereas me, my bar was set here, and there's people doing it here. So yeah, I don't know how it got into this, but I'm really interested to see what happens with parkour in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, because the way people are pushing themselves, the distance people are now able to make, the height people are able to drop, the spins, the confidence, like people are doing flips and landing on railings, like that I wouldn't be able to land on the fucking ground, you know what I mean? And I think it's to go back to something we said before, like when you're born, you're handed the keys to the most fucking advanced machine we know of, and like initially it was used to like navigate the jungles and to escape from prey and to hunt, escape from predators and hunt down prey. Like we were moving and that kind of stuff, and I think parkour taps back into that in such a in the most basic and stripped back kind of way. It takes us back to something that we were, not just what we're talking about, like the childish play aspect, but also our body is designed to do this. And the more people push it, the more like our bodies are adapting to be able to do this. Like I seen there's a show, I think it was Fight Science, but they were breaking down like the actual biomechanics of like parkour athletes and stuff. And they were putting like accelerometers on them to see how much like the parkour roll dissipates the impact from high jumps and all this kind of stuff. And they tested the two athletes, I think it was Ryan Doyle and Daniel Abaca, or Daniel Abaca and Livewire maybe, I can't remember, but they found like their bone density had actually got like increased because they were constantly taking the kind of impacts like big drops in concrete. Their bodies were adapting to that. So I just can't wait to see like in 20 years time what a world class free runner looks like, because it's already, from knowing the founders, like I went over to France and trained with like Sebastian Foucault and Yamakasi, and to know their initial philosophy behind it and their initial intent in their training to what parkour and free running is now, it's so far removed from what they set it out to be. Because once it went out into the public domain, people just ran with it. Do you know what I mean? And you then had people that had maybe trained gymnastics for 20 years and or 10 years and then they get into parkour. So they're bringing this whole new dynamic to it. You then get people trained this martial art and they get into it. So they're coming to it from a different point of view. Someone trained Taekwondo, so they've got a lot more kick kind of stuff, and then they adapt that into parkour. So then they're doing stuff on the street that no one's ever seen. And it's parkour enables such a melting pot of abilities to come together. And I'm rambling again, but what I love about it is like there is never going to be, you're never at your peak in parkour. You're just not, like, because I could train in my hometown for 20 years and I could do every jump, I could land on every railing and do every flip that you could possibly do, every space, do every flip that you could do between every space. I could, you know, do every creative movement possible. And then I could go to the next town over and there's different railings, there's different walls, there's different heights, there's different distances. So you constantly need to adapt, you constantly need to fucking just there's always more stuff you can do. You can always take it further, you can always go higher, you can always do like I think that's why I never liked football as much growing up, because it is quite a restrictive thing. Like, yeah, there's guys that have got incredible skill with a ball at their feet and they can you think it's going this way, then they spin it and goes this way, blah blah blah. But it's still confined to a flat pitch in 90 minutes, 11 players and 11 players and a ball, and that's it. Like, they never mix it up by throwing in a triangle or a square ball, or you know, it's always going to be the same. And the only thing you can really do is win the league. And then once you've won the league, it's reset for the next year, and then we'll see who can win the league this time. And it's reset, and it's always the same prize. It's always the same. It's always the same thing. Whereas parkour is the opposite. That every fucking thing is different. Everything is new, fresh, and there's just so many variables in it to keep it exciting constantly.
It's fascinating, quite honestly. And you know, what's interesting when you said about it's how much it's developed over the course of 20 years. It's like professional bodybuilding. That's what popped to mind, because you've got, like, go back to way in the beginning, and now they've got the focus and focus. They've got now they're looking at specific muscle groups, supplements. There's this expansion as they focus more on the single craft, and it's the same with like UFC in the same way. It's evolved over time. So it's fascinating and interesting that we share a similar sentiment when you're talking about how that when you look at the best of the individuals that are pursuing their craft, that's your standard that you should expect to produce. And I've thought the same thing. So when I'm attempting to do the animations, and it's the same with the animation movie, I'm looking at The Simpsons and Family Guy and American Dad, because that's what the level is the new. And it's insane because it's just me with a fucking pen and a pencil drawn like a maniac. But that's the thing. That's what's necessary to improve on the level that's currently met now. You have to minimally meet that and then exceed it in order to then keep the cycle producing. And that's consistent for every craft, you know.
100%, man.
And it's interesting. Also, I was going to say as well that the way you are with parkour, because parkour is like so explorative, you know, and your mentality towards psychedelics and existential pursuit towards reality, you know, and how finding it difficult to be in a classroom setting. You know, it's really interesting how the basis of the personality is displayed on multiple fronts, you know.
And it's like I was talking to my mate about this every night. Like, again, I can't remember who I'm quoting, but they said like, life only makes sense backwards, but we must live it forwards. And it's not until you've got to a certain point that you realize that you have been led in certain directions. Like, you didn't know it when you were just looking at that one section, but when you pulled back, you're like, oh, right, that's why I did that, and that's why that never worked out, because it was meaning I had to do this, and that's why that was set up. And that's like, yeah, I think if you just keep looking forward, you know what I mean, and trying to leave yourself a little bit open to things, you know, like I said, I always wanted to be a soldier. I thought there was some kind of respect in that, or some kind of, you know, there was something in that I wanted, and I didn't get to do it in the British Army, you know, and I was disappointed. But then I got to be a soldier on TV, which meant more to me. So I still got to be a soldier, you know what I mean? Just not in the way that I initially wanted it to be. And I think if it's very important to have a dream and, you know, something to aim towards, but I think just don't hold the reins on it as tightly. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't have the end point too defined, or you might end up disappointed. But if you're a bit more loose with it, then you might end up, not exactly where you want it to be, but somewhere adjacent that's just as good. And if, as long as you're not disappointed that you didn't get there, but you still made it here, then you should be able to find some happiness.
Thing is, we share so many sentiments. Do you know how I describe that to people? I say the same fucking thing, right? I say the same thing, and it's real interesting. The way I say it is like, whatever you ask the universe for, it gives you, but it might not
Yeah,
come
yeah,
dressed as you thought. It'll come, it might come looking, and the thing that I always say is that it'll have all the main value characteristics that you asked for. It'll just be disguised as something else, and it's about searching for those value characteristics. So it's like wanting to be an actor, or for me, it's like doing this exact same thing, trying to do animation stuff, or when you ask for these things to arrive. That's what's interesting about people that really transcend their initial ambition, because it really, you have to become really acute to acknowledging like, what is it I'm looking for, and is this displaying that thing? Because the truth is, as you said, what you picture in your head, man, that's not what arrives at your door.
yeah.
You know, it's something else. But in its bag though, the thing will arrive different, but in its bag it's got all the shit you asked for.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's fascinating. Like you do get, and that's the thing. It's very literal. You do get what you ask of the universe for, or you do get what you put out. And
Mm.
that was one of the things that I realized. Like a lot of people will say, "Oh, I want this, I want this, I want this," and the universe will be like, "All right, I'll keep you wanting that." If that's the state that you're putting out, like I want a new job, then the universe will keep dangling a new job just out of your reach.
Mm.
So you keep wanting a new job because that's what you're putting out. I want a new job. If you put out, I have a job that I have my dream job. I have a job that fulfills me or that kind of shit. Then you universe will be like, oh shit, he's got his dream job. Like we need
Mm.
to match what he's putting out. So give him that job he wants. Whereas if you're constantly putting out, I want, it will keep you wanting. Do you know what I mean? But if you
Mm.
put out, I'm satisfied. I'm whatever the fuck, then it will make you satisfied. It will create the environment that you're projecting.
Yeah, there's a great quote when they're talking about language, and one of the most powerful statements. And I think to myself how fortunate or how intentional it was for him. But apparently the most powerful. It's not even apparently, if you embrace it into your life, it happens. But I am, and then is the most powerful statement, because it's like
I
I
think
am,
that,
because whatever follows is the definition of yourself. And then Muhammad Ali was the first one that fucking came around with that thing. And in my mind, it's like, it feels to me that that's a destiny circumstance, because I don't think there would have been like the foundational basis of what we're describing now on what is I am, and it's a numerological value, it has frequency in the universe, and it resonates in your immediate magnetic field, and it's your intention is obviously all these different things wouldn't have been considered with Muhammad Ali. He would have just naturally have that level of charisma, and it all just, like you say, it's language is frequency, and I think that's why a lot of the time when you look at the it sounds fucking stupid, but the Bible, and then you've got the logos, and like God spoke and then there was. That's a metaphorical representation,
dude, like two things. Like number one, I told Gary, Dr. Yates, friend of the podcast, both
That's
of our
right.
podcasts,
Yeah.
about the I am yesterday, and I used that exact statement. I am are the two most important words in the universe because whatever follows that becomes. But then I read something. No, it was a video I was watching. I cannot remember who the fuck it was, but they were talking about the Bible, and the first line that says, "In the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God."
That's
Right?
right.
Now, most people have interpreted that as like the word is God, and God should be the focus of that sentence. But
Yeah.
no, it says it right there. In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was God.
Yeah.
The Word was not the Word was God.
Yeah.
Like they should have put in the beginning there was a word, and the word that should have been in italics
Yeah.
because it's the word, it's the manifestation, it's the like what the fuck was I watching, man? But in fact, it was Sadhguru. Have you ever watched any
Yeah.
Sadhguru
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
I love Sadhguru. I like saying Sadhguru. But he was talking about creation, and he says in the beginning, everything's vibration and that kind of shit. Like I heard a great quote from the Dalai Lama. He said, like Buddhists in quantum mechanics, uh, Buddhists and quantum physicists can shake hands over their understanding of the world,
Mm.
and that to me, like it's so beautiful to bring together the physical and the metaphysical in that way. And like when you study Buddhism and you dive into quantum mechanics, it is ultimately saying the same thing from different points. So Sadhguru was saying in the beginning, in the Indian kind of traditions, they call it the Great Roar. It was the Great Roar of creation, the first vibration. We, Western science, calls it the Big Bang. Either way, it was, you know, a vibration, an initial ripple out. Fuck, I've just fucking forgot the point here. But yeah,
because I was talking about the word.
Yeah, that's what he says. Like in the beginning, there was a word, and the word was God, and that's like it's that one sentence that so many people have fucking misinterpreted because they said the word was God, so they think the God's the important bit, and the God must be that guy in the sky, the fucking whatever. But no, it says it right there. The word was God. In the beginning, there was a word, and that was the logos. And I had this was a whole patch in my DMT experience connected to the logos because I felt like not I seen the logos, but they were transmitted to me in some kind of way. Like I went for a patch in my deep DMT fucking dive where I wanted to know where the seat of the soul was in the human body because it's not essentially in the brain, you know, like where is our soul contained? Is it in every cell? Is it whatever? And I've never fully understand this, but they told me it was in the exhale. It's in your outward breath. That is the seat of the soul. And then I took this like if you look at things like The Secret and manifestation and that kind of shit, it says like, oh, you just need to think it and project it, and you know it will go out to the universe and bring it forward. And I started thinking like, right, your brain is electromagnetic. It does send out electric vibes and pulses and that kind of shit, but they must be kind of short range frequency. Do you know what I mean? And I was sitting, there's a tree house in the woods, and I was sitting there just came out of a DMT trip. I was smoking a joint, and it was a calm day, and I took a draw of the joint, and see when I blew out smoke, and I seen, because obviously when you blow out smoke, it's basically like the same capacity as your breath, but it's just dyed by the smoke, so you can see it kind of thing.
That's right.
And I was blowing out this smoke, and I seen how much it dissipated and how far it spread and how much it just like, because it was such a still day, how much it went out into the world. And I'm thinking, maybe that's the mechanism. Like, and it felt like such an epiphany. I actually done an episode of a podcast that developed like a meditation with this as the the main focus. Is like, if you, they say like developing an attitude of gratitude develops or attracts more things to you because you're grateful for what you already have and that kind of shit. So I thought to myself, well, what, like, if you're trying to get to a mindset of abundance and gratefulness, like if you strip everything back, your breath, like everything we do is secondary to the breath. Do you know what I mean? The breath is the thing. And you can breathe as much as you want. There is a fucking abundance of air. Do you know what I mean? Like, I might not have a lot of money in the bank, but I can sniff as much as I want. I'm a fucking billionaire when it comes to breathing. I can, you know, you can breathe as much as you want. That is abundance right there. As far as breathing's concerned, which is the most important thing, I have as much as I could possibly fucking need. And if you're grateful for every single breath, and that's what this meditation was. It's basically meditate as normal, but every breath that you take in, recognize that you're breathing in abundance, and see every exhale, send out your gratitude with it, with every single fucking breath, and you see, all you need to do is go outside and like let out a draw of fucking smoke, and you see how far this goes. And if like that to me made more sense than mentally projecting things and it goes out and affecting the world. To me, it's like after a DMT trip, I realized not that I needed DMT, but everything is molecules. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm made up of molecules. This mic's made up of molecules, but there's air molecules in between it. So there's no actual empty space. Like we're more like in a suit. Like the way I've explained it before, we're not individual people. We're more like if you got a swimming pool and you get different colors of food dye and you dropped like a drop in, because like we're made up of the same stuff as the water. There's just a slight dye that defines us as being different from the rest of the water, but we're all just molecules in a sea of molecules. We're a big super molecules, so there's nothing, and there's no empty space essentially. Do you know what I mean? So if your breath did go out, to me, it makes sense that your breath could eventually go out into the world and bring effect. Like I might breathe out a molecule that's encoded with my intent of like landing this film role or whatever, and it might fucking the casting director might breathe it in, and that might affect him. I know this is
Mm.
getting a bit fucking imaginary and a bit woo, but why the fuck not? Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? What it's a more to me that's a more acceptable process than just sending thoughts out there, because you're
Mm.
actually sending a physical breath out that may or may not be encoded with your intention. Like your
Yeah.
like that might be how reality works. It might be that every breath that you send out is encoded with the thoughts that you're currently having.
Well,
So
to
if
be
you're
honest, when you sorry, that's perfect. Then that's like so every breath when you say encoded with the thoughts that you're having. I mean, what is the connection between those two things? So the thoughts that you have, and then your breath is structured as a word, as a representation of those thoughts. And that's what's interesting is like that 100% makes sense to me because it's like there's also there was I don't know if you've probably seen it, is that there was a research done in Japan, I think it was, and the researcher, what he did was he essentially froze two little petri dishes, and both of them had water in it. And you've probably seen it. And on one side,
oh
um,
yeah, you spoke into it. Yeah.
well, no, no, it wasn't that. Is that he'd wrote on one side it was love on one, and then he wrote on the other side of hate. And so what he did was he then froze both of them, and just to see what kind of pattern it would be displayed essentially. And on the pattern of love, there's like this beautiful, smooth, really nice and appealing to look at format, and then on the one that had hate was just this jagged fucking spiky one, and it just looked horrible, and that was and his theory, that was his basis of his thing, was that language has not frequency in the form of sound, because we all know that you can see it, you can register it, but frequency in the form of a metaphysicality that is impactful. And that's why the basis of, and that's a scientific approach, and that's what's interesting. There seems to be consistency because we share a lot of similarities with the approach, the analytical approach. And most people that are skeptical think, oh, it's a psychedelic connection, but it's no that, man. It's a general outlook. And I think what's interesting is that when you embrace a certain outlook, you come to the same conclusions, and that's what's interesting. And the reason I'm saying that is that, and those same conclusions that are found by varying people are representative of a relative normative value, I would say. And what's interesting is when you've got science that are pursuing a form of research in order to like test a hypothesis, and then you've got a religious text which has no connection to that scientific method, and it's promoting essentially the same structure and conclusion. That's a normative space that you're reaching. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. Like what we were saying, everything is vibration. Do you know what I mean? Like molecules vibrating or whatever, and our voice is a personification of vibration. It's us
Yeah.
manipulating vibrations to express ideas and dreams and like conversations. So it makes sense that this would affect everything else because it's the only thing that we can do to vibrate. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and that's probably why like that was I was going to say that's probably why like we connect so much with music and like it can tap into emotions and that kind of stuff. But that was one of the things. One of my very first DMT trips, I think it was maybe the second one, and it might have been the first time that I went really, really deep. But I came out of it and I was trying to describe what had happened to like people sitting around me. And when I was talking, I felt my voice vibrate in a way that I'd never felt before. And I was literally halfway through like saying, like describing what I'd just been through, blah blah blah. I was like, wait a minute. And I started like singing, like just going la 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 la, like going through registers and shit. I've never been. I love to sing in the shower and shit, but I can't hit notes. I'm not tone deaf, but I'm not fucking. I can't sing, but I could sing, and it was just because I understood how it was vibrating better than I've ever felt before, and it resonated in a way that I was able to control because I understood. Well, that's just vibration. I can just fucking move that up and down. I've lost it now, but that's how I know. Like a lot of times, especially in my early DMT experience, you would come out with the afterglow, and it was just that's whenever I came out of the afterglow, I was able to sing. I just felt completely at ease. There was no, I couldn't. There was a time I came out and had the afterglow, and I felt so good. I couldn't actually conceive of what anxiety was anymore. I couldn't. picture, I couldn't construct any scenario that would in any way make me anxious for any reason. I'd just lost all association with that even being a thing. Why would there be? I'm literally the universe incarnate, and I'm walking through myself like the universe unfolding. Why would there be any form of anxiety? But what fucked me up was I would like have a trip, and I would come out and I'd have the afterglow. I would come out and I'd have the afterglow, and it's literally like you're vibrating at a higher level. You just everything would touch. My parkour was going through the fucking roof because I felt like I wasn't just in control of like my limbs. I felt like I was in control of every cell in my body, and it was all going just where I was directing it to. And also with what I was thinking about, like with everything being molecules within molecules, even the air and that kind of shit, I was starting to convince myself that I should be able to fly or at least levitate. Like I was getting to the point where like, no, this makes too much sense. Not like I would have fucking jumped off a fucking building, like, oh, I'm on drugs, I think I can fly kind of thing.
Yeah,
This was from a purely academic point of view
yeah.
that I'm like, no, I should be able to do this. What would happen? I would come out and I would have the afterglow and I would feel fucking incredible. And then I would like spend a day feeling like that. And then I would think like the next day or the next night, like, I'm gonna jump back in, like to the DMT realm, and I'll maybe come out feeling even fucking better. But what would happen? You would come out and you would just be back to normal, or maybe even like if DMT raises your vibration, not that it would lower it, but you would come back to normal. And because you'd just been at such a high base level, normal would now feel shit kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was kind of like I was coming out with the afterglow, and see if I just rode that out, see if I just spent a couple of months enjoying that, and just like it would have changed my entire life. But because one, my addictive nature, two, my explorative nature, and three, just the shit that you fucking see, man. It's like, ah, it's just having access to that. It's like, why the fuck? It's not like it's pissing me off so much when especially people that haven't done anything like this, they just hear DMT is a drug, and they hear that word drug, and then they just throw up all these defenses and all these preconceived notions of what drugs are and what tripping is and what hallucinogenics are and all this kind of shit. Like DMT cannot be classed in any kind of way similar to fucking like any other drug. Do you know what I mean? Like DMT and coke, they cannot be categorized in the same fucking way in any fucking regard. Do you know what I mean? Because it just cheapens the DMT experience, and it's
Yeah.
such a fucking um, it just it's such a fucking gift to be able to experience this shit and then come back here and realize like there is stuff outside of this. There is so much more to this. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't understand it. You can't contain it within your mind. It's like a dream that fucking fades almost instantly, and you've only got the memories of remembering it kind of thing.
Mm.
Like as much of the stuff that I've seen and that I've spoke about at this point, a lot of the time I'm just remembering the last time I spoke about it because it's impossible to actually keep this shit in your fucking mind at times. But yeah, that was just to say fucking sometimes I came out of the DMT trips and I could sing. But yeah, that's how I ended up like fucking myself up because I wasn't. One of the most important things in psychedelics is taking the time to integrate the experience
Mm.
and really like fucking spend time with it, you know, come to terms with it and that kind of stuff and see how it affects your life moving forward. Like, because it does change you on such a fundamental level when you've had your consciousness expanded to that. Like, I've got one trip, this is one of my favorite stories to tell, but I realized like it actually, I told it not too long ago, and I think it's just, it's not a typical DMT story, but I think it's kind of not run of the mill, but to me, it was just another day in the life. But I realized just how off-putting it was to someone that hadn't done this shit before, and like they were kind of interested in it. But then I told this story, and they told someone else, not behind my back, but they were speaking to someone else, and they says, "I see that story about Lee, like being a volcano and blah blah blah. Like I don't want to do that kind of thing." So what happened was I was fucking sitting, hit the pipe, 3 good hits. I think I went through the kaleidoscope tunnel, I can't remember. But long story short, I ended up being a volcano, right? I was on this purple alien landscape. It was like the Grand Canyon, but purple. And I was a volcano. I was just conscious. Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No, it sounds familiar though.
You need to watch that movie, man. It instantly became my favorite film of all time. But there's a bit where there's like two stones having a conversation, and it makes more sense if you've seen that. But yeah, so I was just a volcano, right? And I ended up spending, and I cannot emphasize this enough, and I'm not fucking dramatizing this, I'm not trying to make it sound bigger than what it was. I spent eons, I spent billions of lifetimes, I spent fucking trillions of years as a volcano, right, on this planet, on this fucking alien landscape. And every couple of centuries, I would erupt, and I would feel this build up, like for fucking decades and decades. I would feel it build up deep, deep, deep inside, and I knew it was going to erupt. And then I would erupt every couple of centuries or so, or every millennia, fuck knows. But it wasn't fire. It would erupt into this big cloud. Like all this shit would come out, and it would come out in a big cloud, and it would be these little like worms, and they kind of had the skin of like beanie babies. That's what they kind of looked like, if you imagine that texture. And they were about the size of my finger, and there'd be billions of them. They would all they come out in this big cloud, and they would all hit the ground, and they would all like wiggle away. And I knew that they were made of love, and I knew that they were going out, they were spreading love like as far as the eye could see across the horizon, and I was happy about that. And I would erupt, and then I would settle, and I would start to settle, and I would settle, and then a few decades later, it would start to build up again, and I'd feel it building up, and I would erupt, and I just went through this cycle for billions of fucking trillions of years. I was just, this is what I was. And then suddenly I get sucked back, and I'm sitting in that fucking chair looking at my mandala, and like 13 minutes have passed in this reality. Like when I think initially when I became a volcano, I could kind of remember stuff, but over that amount of time, I forgot everything. I forgot humans. I forgot fucking this. Like I was just a volcano for that long. I forgot how to remember. Do you know what I mean? I was just, that's what I was. And then bang, I'm back here. Fucking 13 minutes have passed, but I just had that experience, and it's like, have you seen Inception?
Yeah, yeah. Watched it the other night. Actually, like 3 weeks ago, man.
Well, see when um Cobb, Bob, Cobb,
Oh, didn't do that to me, man. I'm fucking ripped watching this film.
when DiCaprio, he's telling the story like him and his missus, they built the dream world and they lived there
Oh,
for
that's
like
right,
80
Leonardo
years.
DiCaprio. Yeah, yeah.
And he says like we came back, but we'd already lived 80 years. We were old
Oh,
souls
yeah.
forced back into young bodies or whatever the fuck. I'd just lived billions of fucking years. And like I said before, people can caveat this by saying, oh, you were on drugs, it's just an experience. But it's still a fucking experience.
Yeah.
I still have that like contained within me, like that experience of time dilation to the point where like I seen seasons change, I seen fucking comets pass on cycles, I was here, I was there, I was just a volcano, I was just a big I was just a big massive land that erupted. Like that's all I was for billions of years, and I still experience that. I still carry that with me the same way I carry the fucking. I was a support worker for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was fucking this for a couple of years. I was a volcano for billions of years. I was this for, like it's
Yeah.
still something that I've went through. It's still something that's not shaped my character, but it's still happened as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned. And it might have been a hallucination. It might have been real, but it's like in the Matrix, your mind makes it real. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is still a thing that fucking.
The thing is, I wouldn't even say like that should be disregarded in any way. Well, I know what you're saying with people that think, oh, you're on drugs, you're on this, you're on that.
Well,
But in the same light, would they be as quick to say that if somebody had engaged in a virtual reality which was completely constructed in a way that makes them experience something? Like nobody would like, that's the same sense, almost same sensory perception thing. But
well,
but to,
I'll tell you. I'll tell you this one last DMT story because it kind of, as far as I'm concerned, it proves a lot of things to me And the way that the story happens, it's kind of undisputable in terms of like the way it all came together. So when I was young, I had like a deep fascination with Native Americans.
Right.
Like I don't know what it was, but I went to the library. I would get books on them. I would read about them, like their rituals, and I was obsessed with this. Like, see when they go on a walkabout, they just go into the desert on a dream, vision quest, and that kind of stuff. You know, they connect with the ancestors. They have whatever kind of experience, like just that kind of connection with the other, you know, side kind of thing. It always fucking fascinated me. And then the first time I read It by Stephen King, I was 11 years old in primary school, and because I can remember everyone else was reading Goosebumps. Like I used to love reading when I was a kid, and everybody else was reading Goosebumps, and I get It from somewhere. So they were reading these like fucking books out of that fucking read It,
Yeah.
and it's like fucking like it's
Yeah.
fucking it's adult. Do you know what I mean? But there's a bit in it where they use the like underground clubhouse that they've built to do a smoke ceremony, and they read about it in a book about Indians using it to go on a vision quest and this kind of shit. So that reignited this fascination. So then when I started like smoking weed and shit, like it never left me that one day I'm gonna go out to the desert or out to the forest and I'm gonna do this fucking thing. And I get into meditation and all that kind of stuff, and then eventually get into mushrooms. And I thought, right, it's going to be mushrooms. That's going to be the conduit for this experience. I'm going to go camping myself because I like to go camping myself. And I do a lot of things by myself. I'll go to the cinema by myself. I'll go fucking different countries by myself. And it's not a lot of time. It's just because no one else can do it at that time, or no one else wants to do it. And I'm like, well, I'm not missing out. I'd rather do it myself than not do it at all. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people cannot go to the cinema themselves, but
Yeah.
to me, there's nothing fucking better than going to the cinema yourself
Yeah.
because you end up with no one in each side of you. It's just you, the movie, and you're fucking focused. It's a good time. So, and it's just to say again, like I'd already been preparing myself to go and do what I'd done without knowing that I was preparing myself to go and do this. So I thought it was going to be mushrooms, and then I started doing DMT, and then I learned how to make it and that kind of shit. So I thought, right, this is what I'm going to do. Go down the woods for 3 days. Just take water with me, no food, because I'd already done like a couple of 3 day fasts and that kind of stuff. And fasting is like it goes hand in hand with psychedelics. It really does help the experience and the process. So I decided to do this in November. I think it was the 4th or the 5th of November that I went down. No, it was after. It must have been the 6th or the 7th. Sorry, it was November in Scotland. It was like -4 at night. Shit. And I was going to go down for 3 days. I was just taking my hammock and some blankets, no tent, no nothing. It was going to be full balls to the wall, minimalist. It was not raining for 3 days. I didn't care about like the minus temperatures, just as long as it wasn't raining. So I went down. Just to give full context to this, I'd already, like I said before, the woods down there, I know them like the back of my hand. There's acres and acres down there, but I know it really well. And there was this spot that I picked out. It had some lovely like old growth trees. It was very like mystical, spiritual looking. Do you know what I mean? It felt like
Mhm.
a place I could spend 3 days camping by myself. So I hiked in that morning. It was like a 45-minute hike. I put my fucking pack on me and shit. And I got to the spot, and it just didn't feel right. It just did not feel. And I'd been there a couple of times planning it. I'm like, "Aye, this is it," and it felt so good. But that morning didn't feel right. Just when I thought that, two crows flew out of a bush and they flew off to the right. And I've got a like deep affinity with crows. It goes back like there's so many shit associated. But I seen these two crows and I thought, cool, that's enough of a sign as I need. Like this is the way I'm meant to go. So I ended up in this part of the woods that I have never been to before, right? For me to say that about those woods, it really is a fucking statement because I thought I'd been everywhere in those woods and
Mhm.
like I kind of prided myself on knowing those woods as well as I do, but this is a bit that I just never fucking ended up in before and I wouldn't have fucking ended up in. So I get to the bit and there was like a kind of rough clearing and on the outside of the clearing, it wasn't a clearing, there was trees within it, but it was like a rough circle that was less densely growthed than the rest of it. and on the outside there was like 3 trees, and 2 of them were kind of weird looking, and one of them was like just a normal fucking tree. So I thought, right, cool, I can hang my hammock between them two. And one of the weird looking trees, like the branches grew down into the ground and then came up again, and there was like roots and shit, and like the roots came out and went back down. But there was a bit where the roots came round, and it made like, if you were sitting in the ground like cross-legged, it made a perfect back support. I'm like, that is fucking exactly what I need. I'll put the fire there, hammock's up there. This is fucking perfect. So I spent the rest of that day gathering wood and shit. I had a DMT trip that night, and when I was lying in my hammock, and it was kind of standard for a DMT trip. But when I was coming out of it, I opened my eyes the first time, and opened my eyes, and I was like, I'm not me. I am not me. And I felt like I was an old person. I just felt old. I can't fucking describe it, but I was not. I wasn't in my body. I wasn't me. I was in an old body, but I was still in the hammock. I had like a head torch on. I was like in the woods, but I wasn't me. And I closed my eyes again, and when I opened them, I was my dad. Like, I was still in the woods. I was still in the hammock, but that's the body that I was inhabiting. And I was wearing gloves, so I couldn't like. I really wanted to see my hands, but I was freaking out, and I was wearing gloves, and fucking I just didn't. And I don't really get on with my dad, so it was a very fucking like, what the fuck. So I closed my eyes again, and there was still like rough, faint DMT shit happening, and I opened them, and I was me again. So I was like, all right, that was kind of weird. Didn't think that much of it. DMT is a fucking hell of a drug. So went to sleep, woke up the next morning, and I was sitting in the little spot with the roots, and I built up the fire, and I built up the fire with just like random twigs and sticks that were lying around. It was just a cacophony of different fucking wood. Got a wee blaze going, and I thought, right, I'll have a DMT trip kind of early on, and then that will give me the rest of the day to like assimilate it. So this was the second day of me being in the woods. So I'm sitting there, fill up the pipe, I'm looking at the fire, I'm meditating and that kind of shit, and psych myself up to do it. Take the 3 hits, close my eyes, nothing. Right? I'm sitting there, eyes closed, nothing. Not a spark, not a fucking nothing. And this had happened before a couple of times, usually when I'd been hitting it kind of hard, but I hadn't done it in a while because I'd been like saving myself. Some eyes closed, nothing. I'm like, what the fuck? Open my eyes, and the fire in front of me. Now, again, if you watch either Doctor Strange or Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness or Everything Everywhere All at Once, especially Everything Everywhere All at Once, they use an effect in it when there's two alternate realities colliding, and they use this effect. It's like it almost looked like smashed glass kind of thing.
Right.
But that's what I seen, right? I was looking at the fire, and there was basically two fires trying to occupy the same space, and it was like they were like collapsing over each other. And I'm like, that's weird, but like you trip with open eye DMT. If you take DMT and open your eyes, like you trip anyway. So I'm like, oh, yeah, it's kind of weird. So I closed my eyes, opened them again, and the fire in front of me was a different fire. It had stopped the layering thing. Everything had kind of settled, but it was a completely different fire from the one that I'd built up. The fire in front of me now, the sticks in it were much more uniform, and they all looked like they came from the same tree. They were all like the same kind of thickness, and it looked like they'd been more properly like collected and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting looking at this, and like I've picked one up, and it had a different texture on it. It had kind of like a, it wasn't smooth wood. It had kind of like an acorn texture, like
Right.
each of the branches. And I'm feeling it, and I'm putting my fingers in the grooves in it. I'm like, this is fucking real. And I'm just looking around. I look up at my hammock, and the hammock was roughly the same place. I hadn't like taken that deep a look at the trees, but it was roughly the same place. But now there was a branch. If the hammock's sitting like that, there was now a branch that was just above it, and there was one coming through this way, which meant you could have still got into the hammock, but you would have had to kind of like thread yourself through these branches and then like drop down into it.
Right.
And I'm like, that is not how I got into that. There was no branches above or below that hammock, but these were fucking like part of the tree. It wasn't like they fell or any of that kind of shit. So this is all like within fucking 10 seconds of me opening my eyes. I'm looking at the fire, look at the hammock, I'm like, what the fuck? And I look behind me, and all the trees roughly seemed to be in the same kind of place. But this, say the trees had been like 20 feet high before, now they got to a height of maybe 8 or 10 feet, and then they bent over to the side. All of them bent over. If I've looked over my shoulder, they all bent over this way. And it was like I've grown weed before, and the plants that were like closest to the fan, like that were under constant wind, they bent over after a while. And it looked like these trees had grown up to a certain height, and then they were subjected to a constant wind that had meant that they actually eventually grew over like this. And I'm looking like, what the fuck? And I've got up and I've started walking around, and the ground was the same, the topography was the same because there was like a slope in front of me. The paths were roughly the same. All the ground was in the same like shape, but trees were different. There was definitely some that were now there that weren't there before. There was different foliage and shit. And I was like, within the first 30 seconds I opened my eyes, I'm like, I'm in an alternate reality. I am 100%. This isn't a DMT trip. This is fucking, I'm here. I'm real. I'm touching this shit. This is fucking real. And I've, like, to me, I kind of put it together like, if you watch Rick and Morty, like, Rick C-137, there was like a Lee C-137, me, I went down to the woods, and Lee C-136, he's went down to the woods at the same time. We've both hit the DMT at the same time, and it's allowed us to fucking cross over. And that I was fully fucking convinced that's what had happened, right? So I'm walking around, and I start thinking, maybe I should just pack up my shit and go home. Because if I'm in an alternate reality, like, what else is different? Like, what else? Like, I'm in the woods, I'm by myself. Like, what else is fucking different out in the world? And I started like, I was like, should I go? Should I fucking And after about 20 minutes, wherever I wasn't looking started to revert back to normal. So if I was looking here and like the trees were bent over, I'd look over here and the trees would be bent over, and then I'd look back and the trees would be normal. And I'd be, wait, and I'd look, and then those trees would be normal. And I would go back to the hammock, and it would be like after 20 minutes, basically, everything reverted back to the way it had been. So I'm sitting there, fucking roll a joint. I'm like, whoa, I like every fucking fiber of my being told me that that is exactly what had happened. I was 100 fucking 1000% convinced that I just crossed over. Me and an alternate Lee had swapped, and he got to spend 20 minutes like, wow, the trees are straight. And I'm like, wow, the trees are bent. But fully convinced that is what had happened. So I had enough. I took down like 3 hits of DMT. And I was like, right, I'll do this third one at sunset, or just like the start of sunset. And then that will give me the rest of the night to meditate on it, shit. Then I'll wake up the next morning, spend the day like collecting my thoughts, and then I'll go home. So sunset starts coming through, and I'm like, right, I wonder if this is going to happen again. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a whole different thought now. It wasn't just, oh, I'll see what's happening with the DMT. Like, this felt like it was a real world effect that this had. And I wanted to see if I could replicate it. So I'm sitting there, meditate, fucking get the pipe, 3 good hits, close my eyes, nothing, not a fucking thing. Like that, right? Same as before. I held them shut for a wee minute more, open my eyes, look at the fire, and there's now 3 fires fucking just trying to occupy the same space and blending through each other and shit. Like that, right? Same shit again. So I close my eyes again. Again, nothing. Left it a wee minute, opened them, and there's now a third fire in front of me that, again, hadn't seen before. I'm like, right, cool. And I looked to the right, and there's a pile of wood, like a wood pile, like maybe 2 feet high, but it was quite, again, it was uniform. It was more uniform sticks than my fire, the original fire, but it wasn't the same as the ones before. And this was a definite wood pile that was there. And I'm looking at this like, it's changed again. Like, again, this is all fucking instantly fucking happening as I'm looking at shit. I'm looking at this wood pile like, it's happened again, of course. And I look to the left, and my hammock and my bag were gone. Like, not, they weren't like hanging in different, like, or different branches, they were gone. And see the sense of fucking fear that I had rise up, because that was my shit. That was like my fucking, my stuff. That was fucking, like, my tray was there, my fucking, all my shit was like my phone, like, not that it would be much good, but as soon as, like, that was my tether to my reality at this point. And I looked at them and like I start freaking out a wee bit, and I look over here, and that's when I noticed the topography was different. I wasn't on the same ground anymore because it didn't slope down in front of me anymore. It was flat out here. It was a different place, and then I noticed the trees were taller, but there was like I don't want to say like there was a cloud, but there was a gloominess that held over maybe 25, 30 feet up. It just got dark all of a sudden, like up there. And I've looked over roughly to my left, and there was like a hut. It wasn't very big, but it was like a fucking about the size of a coal box. If you ever lived in fucking tenements years ago, but it didn't look. It wasn't like carpentry. There wasn't. It didn't look like it had been made from carpentry. Like there was no sawing or stuff. It looked like it just been stacked and like a bit fucking jammed in to hold up here in a rough kind of. It just looked so fucking rickety and shit. But it was a structure. It was a thing that did not exist where I was before. So again, this is like all in the space of me looking here like shit, my shit's gone, looking here like what the fuck. And then I was about to look over my right shoulder, and I got this feeling there was someone sitting behind me, right? Like maybe 20 feet away. And they were sitting much the same way I was sitting, like cross legged. And I got the feeling now I wrote a trip report about this and I put it into one of the fucking psychedelic forums that I'm on Facebook or some shit. And I'd said it felt like it was a witch. And this chick gave me a fucking bollocking saying like, well, witches are actually usually white spirit and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, this is like fucking. Have you ever seen Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, see the hag, and
yeah,
she's
yeah.
like fucking casting fucking chicken guts, and like it felt like there was some hag or some fucking like woods woman sitting behind me, and see the bad mojo that I felt coming off this woman, and I never seen her. I got to like maybe here, and I just felt that this person was here, but I put all this together, and again, this felt so real. And like I said before, I've spent a lot in my life overcoming fear,
Mm.
things that make me feel like, oh fuck, like in the pit of my stomach, I can't do that. I went out and purposely done it because I don't want to let fear rule me. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
want to be able to overcome any fucking shit that stands in my way. Going to the army, doing parkour, fucking getting into acting. It's all shit that I had to dig deep to be able to fucking do. But the fear, the crippling, fucking paralyzing fear that came over me that stopped me from turning and actually seeing this. Uh, it was a woman, it was a female. I don't know if it was a woman, but it was a female fucking
Mm.
hag thing that had some bad fucking mojo surrounding it. So I started freaking the fuck out internally, like, because one of the things that kept going through my mind is, where are you going to get DMT for here? Where are you going to get DMT? How the fuck? Like, it wasn't before I was convinced that I'd crossed over with an alternate me. I was in an alternate reality, but this time I was in an other reality, and it felt like there had never been a representation of me in this level of existence. The
Mm.
time before, it felt like we just switched over. I'll get to this in a minute though. So I start freaking the fuck out, thinking I'm stuck here and fucking blah blah blah. My shit's gone. Like all this is happening so fucking quick. And I closed my eyes and I sent out like this fucking. I might have done it fucking vocally. I'm not 100% sure, but I sent out this fucking psychic scream to just fucking anything, to just anything out in the fucking anywhere. Please fucking, if you know what's happened, like if you've seen what's happened, some higher fucking entity, get me the fuck out of here and take me home. Whatever mojo's happened, please fucking reverse it. Just get me fucking gone. And I fucking scrunched my eyes up and I seen this. It was like a really thick orange rope that had been like braided together, and it looked. I've tried to fucking. I'm sure there's some kind of significance to the knot that it was braided in, but I've not been able to see like something that represented. It was this, and it was like three strands, a really thick orange, like rich rope that had been fucking braided together in this certain knot, and it was like coming down past my vision. And I was like, please, 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 just get me home, like fucking free falling internally, like freaking the fuck out. And I sent out this fucking plea and opened my eyes, and the fire was doing the the free fucking thing, trying to occupy the same space. And I've closed my eyes. I'm like, right, right, it's working, please. And I've opened my eyes, and it was my fire. And I looked at it for a second, and it didn't twinge. And I got up, and I'm like, right, I am done with the fucking wood. looked around, made sure everything was cool, went over to my hammock, and I just started grabbing shit, firing it into my hammock, unclipped both hands, both sides, sorry, fucking stuffed that into my bag. And the way it came in, it was like, you have to leave my house, go down, cross a bridge to the other side of the woods, and it's like a 45-minute hike in. And I thought, right, I can go back that way, or I can go down this hill to the river. The bridge is here, and you go all the way around, and you get to where I was, which was close to the river, and I can just go through the fucking river, and I can be home in like 10 minutes. And this is November, this is fucking minus whatever the fuck. I'm like, fuck it. And I was so fucking scared that I just went down the river, socks off, shoes back on, rolled my fucking trousers up, and I just plowed through this fucking river, get out the other side, went up the fucking hill, and then I made it back to like civilization kind of thing. And I got home, and it wasn't until I got in, like, because I basically did not stop moving for the second I opened my eyes and realized I was back in my reality. I was fucking, I needed to get as far away from there as possible because it was fucking real. And what I think happened was, the first time I think 100% me and an alternate Lee crossed over, and I think all of the alternate realities are. I also believe in like alternate realities and shit, and I think they're all stacked on top of each other. So like everything takes place in the same time, like in the same space, and it's all just stacked, and like we just can't see it because it's on a different frequency or vibration or whatever the fuck. And the first time that we'd done it, when we crossed over, I think this hag fucking woman was on the same point, but on a different reality. And I think she noticed the connection happening because I think she was some kind of fucking woods woman, you know, tapped into the fucking like shamanistic whatever the fuck. And I think she sensed the connection and she knew it was taking place. And the second time that I went to do it, I think she hacked the connection. And instead of me and him crossing over, or just me or whatever the fuck, she pulled me into her reality. And like I said before, the first time it felt like I crossed over with an alternate me. And the second time it felt like I wasn't in an alternate reality, it was an other reality that I had never existed in. I was never meant to exist. There was no representation of me there to inhabit. I'd just been pulled into it. So here's where the story gets a wee bit weird. Now, came back when I first got there. I like took a camera with me. I think it was the 600D, and I took some pictures like the campfire and like the smoke was going through the trees and there's sunlight illuminating it. It was a nice place that I chose to camp. Took some nice pictures. So 4 days after I came back, I put these pictures up on Facebook, and there's a guy who's like a local Ray Mears kind of dude. Like I don't, as much as I love the woods, I can't tell you what fucking tree that is or what that is. I just go there and fucking like I don't know what it is. So I put these pictures up, and Graham said, "Oh, cool pictures, blah blah blah. Was it not strange camping in a circle of yew trees?" And I'm like, that's quite a weird thing to comment. And yes, it was weird, but I know why it was weird. You don't know what the fuck I was doing down there. Like, why the fuck would you ask if that was weird? So I messaged him. I was like, what do you mean about yew trees? Like, what's weird about yew trees? Like, I didn't know they were yew trees. And it turns out, like, the clearing that I was in, it was not only a circle of yew trees, but the trees that I'd hung my hammock between was like a smaller circle of yew trees within the big circle of yew trees. So I was camping in concentric circles of yew trees for 2 days. And he goes, also, I was doing the most powerful fucking psychedelic movement. So he says to me, just Google it. So I Googled it, and there is thousands of years of legends and myths and lore. Like yew trees are, I think they're the oldest tree in the world, and they're indigenous to Scotland. And there's all these stories about people going into circles of yew trees and vanishing and never coming back and going to. And every report that I read said they didn't go to an other world; they went to the underworld. Like yew tree circles transport you to the underworld, and there was fucking hundreds of years of documentation, people going into circles of yew trees and vanishing, and then this is where they go, or people coming out of yew tree circles, and like they're out of time or out of place kind of people. And I'm like, all right, cool. So that 100% fucking confirms everything that fucking happened to me as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And the other thing, you trees are deeply connected to your ancestral line. I can't remember how. So that's like the first DMT trip I had when I came back. Like, and I was the first time I was an old person, and I now believe it was my grandpa because I don't like my dad was adopted, so we don't know who his dad was on his side kind of thing. So that's why when I was inhabiting this old body, when I first came back from the DMT trip, I didn't know who I was. And then I closed my eyes and went back up a wee bit. And then when I opened them again, I was inhabiting my dad's body. And then I closed my eyes, went back up, came back down. Because I believe that's what happens when you close your eyes and disconnect to this reality. That's when you go into the DMT realm. So what I think happened was I went up into the realm, and when it was time to come back, they knew that they had the right ancestral lineage to like plop my consciousness back into, but they didn't know at what point it was. So the first time they were like, "Is this him?" And I'm like, "No." Is this him? No, 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 no. Is this the one? I'm like, yeah, 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 this is me. And that's what it felt like. But this is something that these trees are also meant to do. And also the trees are psychoactive within themselves, but they're also poisonous. But I was like burning branches and shit in my campfire for 2 days. So long story short, as far as I'm concerned, what happened fucking happened, and
Mhm.
it's an actual like mix of the physical and the metaphysical. Like if I'd went down here and just camped amongst these trees for a couple of days, I might have, and then like started meditating, I might have still fucking passed over to this underworld. But I think the fact that I went down and done the DMT as well, it's just acted as an accelerant, and it's
Mhm.
allowed me to first of all cross over, and then like I say, the second time we've went to do it, this fucking hag or whatever it was has sensed the connection, hacked it, and then fucking managed to pull me through into her reality. But I was already convinced that that's what had happened, and then I come home and I get a random fucking dude, giving me this information that, as far as I'm concerned, proves exactly what the fuck I thought had just happened. And that's one of my favorite stories to tell because it's, again, you can say, yeah, Lee, you're on drugs, you're gonna fucking like. I've seen much weirder shit on DMT that's fucking even more like unexplainable. But you're just like, all right, it's DMT. You see weird shit, do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You just kind of accept it. But this was not like anything that had ever happened to me on DMT before, and it was so real. Every
Mhm.
fucking bit of it. There was no bit of it that made me think it was a trip or a hallucination or any of that kind of shit. I was 100% fully convinced, and still am, that I crossed over to an alternate and another reality. And since then, I was a bit. I didn't do DMT for a while after that, but roughly every time I've done it since then, other than the 2 times I've done it for shadow work, whenever I do DMT now, I'll either spend 20 minutes in an alternate reality, and I've only ever really done it in my house, but I've had different cats. If you look at like that wall, that's the graphic novel from The Crow, that I've got as like wallpaper. I've
Nice.
came out being like a manga comic. I've come out and I've had different guitars and that kind of shit. So whenever I do DMT now, I either spend 20 minutes in an alternate reality, roughly 20 minutes, or I spend 20 minutes flicking through realities. And when that happens, it's got scary at times. There's like a scene in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness where he gets flicked through like several universes at once, and he goes through one where it's like animated, he goes through one where he's made of paint, he goes through one blah blah blah. And I described this on my podcast like 3 years ago, and now 3 years later, a Marvel movie talking about multiverses and shit has perfectly described or perfectly visualized what I described happened to me while I was fucking traversing multiverses throughout this trip. And to me, it's just fucking like the fact that there's such a push right now in the media
Mhm.
on multiverses and fucking all this kind of shit. It kind of makes me think there's going to be some kind of reveal in that kind of way,
Yeah.
that will kind of shape us towards it.
I mean, at the
Because
very
I'm
minimum, what I would say, to be honest, is you know, if anything, if when it comes to the spiritual realm and metaphysicality and different dimensions and all that kind of thing, the likelihood that there would be at least one tool to access it. You know what I mean? And that's the way I see it. Is like surely, like consciousness is like this stream, It's just like this ongoing circumstance, and like Aldous Huxley, you know, we filter it through all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and inevitably, if there's a filtering element, there should also be an accelerant element where it flips it round, where you absorb everything, you know, and everything arrives, and then you can, at the very minimum, you know, interpret it. Inevitably, they'll always say that it's like inconsistent, blah blah blah. But there'll be moments, as you're describing it now, where there's parallels, there's you know, consistencies between the stories, you know, and it's, I find this stuff really truly fascinating, you know, I really do, because it's the same with the Egyptians using it and all that kind of stuff and access, and that was what they were trying to talk about with their you know, Eye of Horus and all these different things. You know, it's the pineal gland, DMT, and just on, it goes on and on, really. You know.
One thing, like this is just another artifact from my DMT experience, but I'd love to put it on this. Just one, I'll see if it resonates with you in any way or anyone that happens to watch it. But there was one time I came back from a DMT trip, right? And if you imagine your thoughts going forward in a straight line, like see like the opening credits of a Star Wars film, like if you imagine that's how you think, your thoughts go straight like that, da
Yeah.
da da. That's what was happening with my normal thoughts as I was just coming back to baseline for the DMT. But there was this phrase that was literally zipping around my head and cutting through my normal forward thinking thought pattern, and it was just fucking going up and down. And as I was trying to think sentences, this phrase was like curving around him and entwining around him. It was just such a bizarre experience. And the phrase is, and I don't know if this is a language, the last word sounds a little bit Spanish, but the rest of it just sounds mental. And see, trying to, I've actually got it on video, and me trying to, like, I had to try and catch the phrase in my mind to be able to pronounce it, and I had to stitch it together and get little bits as it was flying around. So the phrase is Kanishnu in Gluckanable in Glucku in Glace. I have
Nice.
no idea what the fuck, but that is something that came back with me that it felt like a worm going around my head, and I had to catch it to be able to verbalize it. Kanishnu in Gluckanable in Glucku in Glace. Like the last bit in Glace, it sounds like, oh, hablo in Glace, like English. But Kanishnu in Gluckanable, like see that word in Gluckanable? See trying to fucking pronounce that when you've never heard it, it's just flying around your head. And that's it. And I've never met anyone who it means anything to, but I don't know if it's gibberish or it might be the fucking secret incantation of the universe. I have no fucking idea, but it has never been able to leave me. Kanishnu in Gluckanable in Glucku in Glace. If that means anything to anyone, please get in touch.
Nice one. I like that
Um,
a lot, man. The thing is, there's a lot you could do with that kind of thing if you're, you know, it reminded me of The Simpsons when they do like knee dad, etchy, or like a backwards fucking thing that means
like,
something.
I had thought like maybe it's fucking some kind of backwards thing or some kind of fucking, but it's not.
Other thing I
I've
was going
got
to say as well is actually quite interesting. You would say it just sounds like gibberish. I'm reading a book that's called The Great Work from Alchemy. It's Alchemy, The Great Work from a woman called Cherry Gilchrist. And inside of it, she details the traditions, the origins of alchemy from the east all the way through to the west. And so at one point, she covers the Middle East and starts talking about how alchemy was put through the Sufis and stuff like that. And there was three, I don't know if they were Sufis, but there was three individuals that were predominant in introducing alchemy to the Arabic world. And I'm probably pronouncing this fucking wrong. Apologies if so. And one of them was called Geber. And so when they're detailing their obviously alchemy, the process of extracting fucking gold from impure metals, but it's
the
obviously
last
much
book I
more
read
than
was
that. You what?
the last book that I read was The Alchemist. Funnily enough,
What's the chances of that, man? That's what I mean, man. This is what I mean. That's the
um,
universe is this. This is the way the universe is, man. And that's what's really interesting is like so in it, there's a guy that one of the three one of the three individuals from the Middle East that introduced alchemy to that region was called Geber or Geber. And
yeah,
Geber, so when he was dictating, when he was like writing down his formulas and his methods and these kind of things, it was so intensive and it was so allegorical and complex that they refer, and it was so almost in most cases it sounds like the way she was describing it's untranslatable that
yeah,
they referred to it as gibberish, 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 and that's how they so it's like almost
yeah,
untranslatable. And it's just funny how you would describe it as gibberish when, and this is essentially in the context of an alchemical fucking recipe, you know, what could potentially mean something. Unfortunately, it's also frustrating for you personally that you have this phrase and have essentially no way of figuring out what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? But we'll probably hit
knowing
wrap
where
up
it
soon.
came
We'll probably hit
from.
wrap up soon, Lee.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Yeah, probably, man.
It's been a good chat anyway, man.
This has been phenomenal, man.
Okay.
Aye, let's see, man. This has been fucking phenomenal stuff, and I expected this. That's why I had my scran beforehand, man. I expected this would be like when I was speaking to Gary, and let's say, man, I don't like saying there's movements going on or blah blah blah, but I do think that evolution has reached a point where it's the body's kind of now evolved, like the frontal cortex and your frontal lobe or whatever. It's reached its peak. So now the next stage of evolution is thought, and I think and again, it's cyclic. It's not just that we're the first species to come across this, blah blah. But I think we're going through a cycle of thought evolution, and it's becoming more and more apparent as time's going on. And I think that's what's going on here. So when you see individuals that are going through a journey that's not connected to you in any way, shape, or form, but they reach a similar conclusion, you are both walking down a particular path. And I'm sure, like, it's funny, it makes me laugh at this because I always do the same thing yourself too. Like, I try and be objective and criticize my own self. And I was like, I'm sure that's consistent with people that found cults, that they're in a position where, like, we all share the same thing, so we're correct. You know what I mean? And then death arrives after it. But I think that's where the thing that's important about that then is that the thing that's important is you have to kind of base your investigation towards the world. It has to be based on an ethic, on a value that's based in positivity, because that's what I was speaking to an individual a while ago actually about it, and about the positivity element. I was like, there's only positive and negative. There's only good people and bad people, and the bad people are probably like, nah, man, my way's the right way. Being bad's the right way, and then good people would be like, nah, it's good. And I was trying to think, so how can you tell if positive and negative, which one's the best way to go? And I know that you need both in order to function, but the way I see positive, which is being morally aligned, being balanced, being receptive, compassionate, and being loving and positive generally, the reason why I think that's the sustainable perspective in life, that's why Buddhism's so good, because it's a benevolence instead of a malevolence. I think the reason why positivity is the way that everybody should focus to align themselves is because it's sustainable. There's never going to be a scenario where the erosion of a plant is going to make it survive, whereas the positive nourishment of it will. And I think that's where positivity is the thing, but you need the erosion to give it context. But the inevitability is, if anybody embraces erosion, and this is obviously negativity or like just the utmost abhorrent behaviors of human society, if they embrace that as, like, you know, sociopathic individuals or whatever you want to call them, if you want to embrace that as like, nah, I like being that way, they're choosing the fundamental opposite of what's sustainable. And I think that's the reason. And it was a great conversation with the guy, you know, about this, and that's what we came to the reason. I was like, that's what it is. We never came to a full conclusion, but personally, that's where I stand. Is that your inquiry of the world should be based on a foundation of value and moral ethic, that is consistent with self-sustainability, opposed to a negative embrace. And I think that's that's the reason I'm saying this, is that the intention seems to bring to the same direction. And that's why a lot of what you're saying. What was funny was when I was talking to Gary, as I'm talking, he kept bringing you up, like, mate, what the fuck? Like, saying you're saying the same shit. What the fuck? I need to introduce you to this cunt, and that's why it was funny. But it's good, man. So the Alchemist, I'm the same. That fell the book you're talking, Pablo Coelho. Is that what you're meaning? Yeah, that fell on my path as well, man. It just came out of nowhere. I wasn't looking at alchemy. It just arrived. And what I think the Alchemist does, because it's so weird you would say it, because since I started working again, I tried to find it so I could read it at work, and I couldn't find it. So I'm going to buy a new. And I was thinking that this week, man, it's so bizarre. Obviously, it's not bizarre. It's synchronistic. But it was. Sorry.
It was a guy that I work with. I'd been talking to him about some stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I've got a book you would like."
Yeah.
And he just came in and, like, we walked past and put it in my truck, and I was like, "Shit, I've heard of this."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I think you'd like it. I never finished it, blah blah blah." And I read it in like a day,
Yeah.
basically, and it resonates, and like, it's all metaphorical, you know, it's all allegorical and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you can read between the lines, and it was exactly what I needed to read at the moment, at that moment in time, about like following your dreams and
Yeah.
choosing your own path and that kind of stuff. And just real quick, like, before we wrap it up, like, this is something I've thought about before, with us talking about life being cyclic in nature. Like, I honestly feel, in terms of psychedelics, there was clearly like a psychedelic renaissance in the 60s. Do you know what I mean? There was a large bloom in it, and I think that was the other side trying to usher in a new era of love, understanding, and positivity, and that kind of shit. And I think where it failed was we just weren't connected enough at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think that we're in a current new psychedelic renaissance, but because we are as connected with the internet and podcasts, and like we can get the word out and people can share stories and that kind of stuff, this time I think it's going to take much more of a positive hold than it did. It already is. Like if you look at the amount of states that are legalizing weed, and then psilocybin going into like plant medicine in general, like states are legalizing ayahuasca and that kind of stuff. Hopefully Britain will get the fucking finger out soon, man, because
Yeah, I'm the same.
it's insane that we have to live in such a repressed society, do you know what I mean, as we do in Britain with the approach to drug laws and shit like that. But I do feel we are in the midst of, especially the next 10 years, we could see a major revolution in the understanding and administration of psychedelics. And I think that is the most beautiful thing that could happen to our society as a whole, do you know what I mean? And that's why I'm glad, like, we can have open conversations like this. And I know it wasn't all psychedelics, but I think it's important for us to be able to do this, like whether it's cannabis, psilocybin, DMT, whatever the fuck. And like I said before, don't listen to any of my stories. I went deep. I went too deep on the shit. If you just want to, DMT is a very powerful tool if you use it guided, if you use it sparingly, if you respect it. I always respected it, but I did just like dance way too much with it.
It's interesting you
But
say about the podcast. Sorry, on you go, man.
I was just gonna say that was my journey. You know what I mean? That was what I had to go that far to know that I'd went that far, and then hopefully tell other people not to. But there was just so many people out there that suffer from depression, suffer from anxiety, all this kind of stuff, and instead of going to like pills with such just a long list of fucking side effects, a lot of the time worse than the condition that you're actually suffering from, like look into it. Do you know what I mean? Like I know it's still fucking illegal and that kind of stuff, but just be open minded about it, and it might be what you need, and it could be the thing that cures you to a point where you don't need to continue any treatment or any of that kind of stuff, and it will definitely open your consciousness to see behind a lot of the bullshit of our society, and to be able to follow your own path, your own intuition, your own thoughts, your own ideas. You know what I mean? I think that's important. Sorry, what were you going to say about podcasts?
Just the when you were talking about the pockets of change and how it starts with and it's contributing towards with podcasts. I had a viewer who'd made a comment that's really stuck with me when it comes to that. When they'd referred to podcasts in these conversations as the mycelium of change, which is connected under the surface, and then it was the mushroom, the inevitable mushroom, is going to be the evolutionary change in thought.
Right.
And that's what I remember. It stuck with me because I remember reading it. I was like, that's insane. I was like, you know, each podcast is a network in the mycelium network that's all unifying together, and the mushroom is the next stage.
That is beautiful, man.
I hope the guy's watching, and I hope he's clapping. Like, that was me, motherfucker.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, although my podcast was like small and I've only done like 25 episodes so far, I did connect with people that I wouldn't have touched otherwise. And
Are you starting to back up? Yeah, you're going to start. You're going to get the engine
yeah,
going.
I'm going to Amsterdam. It's my birthday at the end of March. I'm going to Amsterdam, so I'm kind of putting a lot of stuff off right now. And I'm like, I'll do it when I'm back from Amsterdam. I'll do it when I'm back from Amsterdam. So that's one thing. I might do an episode with Gary in Amsterdam, just because it would be cool because of his stature in the cannabis community right now to talk to him in Amsterdam kind of thing. But when I fire it up, you definitely will be either the first or possibly second guest.
I appreciate that a lot, man. Appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
No, this has been great, man. It's good to fucking connect with you.
Aye, definitely, man. Definitely. This has been fucking quality, and let's say it's just refreshing to share these kind of ideas, and you know, and it's dynamite, man. Really glad fucking I got Gary on. Everything's it's a synchronistic event. What I was going to ask, when's your birthday?
25th of March.
Oh, I was going to say my son's is the 22nd. I was like, that would be funny.
Oh, shit.
I know, pretty close yet, man. Definitely. But let's say, Lee, this has been a fucking blast, and keep in touch, man. This has been dynamite.
Oh, definitely, mate. And yeah, we'll speak soon, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks to Lee for giving me his time, and thanks to you for sticking around until the end of the video. I sincerely hope you enjoyed the content. I'll see you next time.